What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're back here in Forza Horizon 4 today to check out this season's new car, the Bugatti Divo. I'm pretty excited to give this car a try. It seems really interesting. I definitely like the design of it, and from what I understand, it does handle better than the older Bugattis, which was my big problem with the Veyron and the Chiron, is they just handle like bricks. This car, I'm sure, is still going to struggle a little bit because it is still a heavy vehicle. But I got a spot marked out here to go down to the house and check out the upgrades on this thing. I'm not going to go crazy with this car. I want to keep it fairly close to how it comes, just so I don't kill the feel of the car. Oh, once we go down this dirt road, I was hoping to get to try this thing out a little bit stock on the way there. It actually has amazingly good grip off-road though, since it does have all-wheel drive. I do have to say, I'm fairly surprised this thing does as well off-road as it is. Even though it is all-wheel drive, I still kind of expected this thing just to slide everywhere.
You have arrived at your destination. In 400 yards, turn left.
Overall, the car does feel a lot more responsive than either the Veyron or the Chiron. Still kind of very brick-like feeling to the handling, but it's definitely an improvement. Once you get this thing up to speed though, it really starts to shine a little bit more. It does a great job just sticking to the road. Alright, so we'll hop in here real quick to Forza Vista, take a look around the car, and while I'm doing that, I do want to say, I have to say, for being stock, I really do like the way this car feels overall, especially for what it is, and considering how heavy the car is. You have to really take that into consideration about the way it takes corners in the overall weight of the car, because it really plays a factor. Even with whatever tweaks they've done to the chassis and aerodynamics to get this to handle better, it's still really just a massive brick of a vehicle. But taking that into consideration, the car does drive very well overall. Really well designed interior. I really like the accents in this. It really actually all works pretty well together. Lots of Alcantara everywhere in this thing though. Let's take a quick listen to what it sounds like here in Forza Vista. Definitely sounds better towards the low RPMs. Once you get a little higher up, it sounds a little off to me, but that is pretty actually accurate for how these cars sound. Maybe a little bit less aggressive than they do in real life. I actually kind of like the stock wheels on this thing even. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the upgrades you can do to this thing. Like I said, I'm not going to change a lot, but I will show you guys what we can do. Rear wheel drive swap, which actually would probably be pretty cool with this. You could actually do like an actual proper GT style car with this and do do it as a rear wheel drive build. Forza Aero, from what I've seen in the front, doesn't look terrible. I mean, it kind of does ruin the front just a little bit, but not horrible, not nearly as bad as some of them. And the rear wing actually is about the right width, especially if you're going for a GT style build for this car. And it uses the factory mounting point, so it doesn't really look ridiculous to have that spoiler on this car. So we can do for tire width. We already are on 285s, which is pretty wide. I don't want to go super crazy. We're going to go 295. In the rear, we can go all the way up to a 385. We'll do 365s on this build. See how much this brings our tires out. I don't want to go too crazy on this. That should be alright. Should not look too ridiculous being out that far. Back actually lines up really well. So I'm going to go with these HREs for the wheels. Don't worry about how they look now. I'm going to paint them later when I do the paint and everything. I think they'll actually look pretty good on it, and I really like how deep of a dish they have to them. We will throw the race transmission in it just so I can play with the gears a little bit on this thing. Go ahead and just do full drivetrain upgrades really while we're here so I can do a little tweaking. I do want to lighten the car up as much as I can. So race weight reduction brings us down to 3,400 pounds, which is a pretty substantial loss, almost 900 pounds. I'm not going to throw a roll cage in it just because I don't like how much view they obscure when you're in cars like this and most of the vehicles in cockpit view. And you don't really gain a whole lot in this style of car from adding it. And all we can do as far as suspension is rally springs, which would actually probably be pretty fun to try out with this thing, just to make an insane like hill climb rally style build almost. Just because it does feel pretty good off-road the way it comes stock. And as you can see, this thing doesn't have power upgrades, so like I said, there's not a lot I'm changing to the car today. So I'm going to go ahead and head out here after installing all this, do a little bit of tuning to it real quick, mostly just adjust ride height, tire pressures, and maybe play with the gears to work with my H-pattern shifter a little better, and then I'll see you guys right back here in a minute. Alright guys, so here we have it after I went through and repainted it. All I did was change it to a metallic black paint and repainted the rims too to match. And I have to say I'm pretty happy with the way it looks now. I do have it almost lowered all the way down. I'm one click from being bottomed out in this thing. As far as the rest of the tuning goes, I just kind of evened the gears out a little bit. They were a little bit weird looking to me. And probably kind of why the car would really kind of jump when I would get on the throttle sometimes. Besides that, all I really did was change tire pressures. The rest of it's basically the stock setup, other than accel and decel in the differential. That I did tweak around a little bit just to try to get the car to turn in a little bit better and feel a little less all-wheel drive. It seems to have worked. It definitely feels like it turns in a lot better now. Gearing feels a little better too. It's much smoother between changes. I gotta say, from the chase cam, this car does sound much, much better. I believe that was a Ferrari that was just flying overhead there. Oh, before I forget to mention it here, guys, during this test drive, I do want to show you something real quick about how easy it was to get this car, because I already have the monthly rivals finished. Oops, wrong button. But because I already have all this done, the Horizon story, the monthly rivals, and qualified for online adventure, I was basically almost at 50% to begin with. I think it was 38 or 39% I started out for this season. So I literally only had to do the PR stunts to unlock the car. It was really that easy to get. So really not really an excuse not to go out and get this car if you guys want it. I am in a few Facebook groups about Forza Horizon 4, and I've seen a lot of people asking people if they have them for sale. And this is one I really don't understand why you wouldn't be able to just go out and get it really quick. It's a lot easier to grind out 3 PR events if you already do everything else to qualify for the season than it is to grind out a few million credits to actually go out and buy the car. Oh, I've been playing a lot of Project Cars 2 instead of Corso when I'm not recording here lately, and I gotta say, after coming back from those games, the actual driving force feedback in this game feels terrible on road. Off-road's not bad here in Horizon, and when you're drifting, the game actually feels really good on a wheel, but when it comes to driving, especially cars like this, there's just not enough force feedback, and it's really twitchy sometimes. Well, not that there's not enough force feedback, because there's plenty. My wheel has a lot of force behind it in this game. It's just not detailing all the things you really need to know how to drive the car and when to push it. Yeah, this definitely handles way better than the other two Bugattis we have. Well, the two modern Bugattis we have in the game. That was really tight to that inside wall. Almost couldn't find 6th gear. Sorry I was being quiet there for a little bit, guys. I was trying to get a nice run through that section of road so you guys can actually see what this car can do without me making a bunch of mistakes, because I'm trying to talk and think about what I'm going to say at the same time while I'm driving. Especially at speeds like that, it gets really, really hard to actually keep up with everything that's happening. I keep getting ready to rev match and downshift and blip my throttle because I've been driving, like I said, in Assetto Corsa and Project Cars 2 so much, and a lot of vehicles you can actually do that in if you time it properly and actually rev match it. So now that I've drove this car for a little bit, my thoughts on it would have to kind of fall in the realm of, it's a really great car to drive. It's definitely a lot of fun. Do I feel like it'd really be competitive at anything, especially online in this game? Probably not. Maybe. I mean, it could honestly do pretty well. Let's see, what actually is our PI? So we still got a little bit of room. If we did the rest of our tire upgrades, we could probably be at the top of S2, and you could probably win some races with this car, but there's definitely a lot of S2 class cars that could just absolutely destroy this thing. But as far as that goes, if you were just doing offline races, yeah, I'm sure it would do great at that. As far as using as like a nice all-around vehicle for Forzathon events so you can get some points racked up, sure, probably it does do fairly decent off-road. It's got plenty of speed for jumps and stuff like that, so it'd probably be a really good car for that. But what I really feel like this car and a lot of the cars really in Horizon are actually really good for is just exactly kind of what I'm doing now, just taking them out, enjoying these roads, and kind of seeing what the car is capable of and how hard you can drive it. Oh, definitely could use a little bit more work on the suspension. I feel like it does have a little bit of a nasty body roll sometimes. It really pushes you out in the corners. All that being said though, guys, the car is definitely worth the time to go ahead and head out and grab. Like I said, just qualify, do all the stuff at the beginning of the month for the entire series. And for this entire month, all the 50% completion bonus stuff should be extremely easy to grab. If you're looking to get the 80% completion stuff, it'll make it a lot easier too. Oh! Absolutely punted that little Fiat. Made me lose my train of thought when I nailed that little Fiat back there. There's really just no excuse not to go ahead and go out and get this car if you actually want it. Even a little bit, because it's not hard at all to get this one. Some of them lately have been a little difficult to get, but compared to anything we've had lately, this is probably the easiest car I've actually wanted to unlock. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.